Dearest gentle listeners, welcome to another episode of Binge Yap Repeat. Today we have a guest host, the one and only Sarah Hahn, coming in from New York City.
Hello, I'm so happy to be here. Listeners may recall that I've been shouted out a few times on Binge Yap Repeat. Always an honor. But I was the person who did, in fact, point out in Nobody Wants this popcorn bowl that the mom was eating popcorn out of. And then Ruchi and Shalini sent it to me. And I have never actually used it. But just because it's like, I don't really... I'm not really watching TV in bed on my iPad and wanting popcorn, but I always have it and think of Binge Yap Repeat when I look at it.
Aw. Well, thank you for joining us, Sarah. Today's episode, from the intro, you can probably tell, is about Bridgerton Season 4. So, Sarah, why don't you give us your expertise in Bridgerton?
Yeah, so first of all, thank you so much for having me. Happy to be here. I would say my expertise in Bridgerton is enthusiastic, sometimes watcher. So I did not complete last season, which was season 3 with Colin. I just could not get into it. However, for this season, I was really drawn by the Korean actress Yerin Ha, and I think she's so beautiful and so talented, and had to watch it, and it was amazing. So that's my expertise is season 4 enthusiastic watcher.
Amazing. Okay, I can't wait because Yappers, I have read all the books, so I'm excited to get Sarah's authentic reaction to some of the things that we can talk about when comparing the show to the book. So I'm excited for this. Excellent. Okay, I'm going to do my quick intro with my my professional voice, my corporate voice. Okay, so for those of you who are not familiar, Bridgerton is an American alternative history Regency romance television series for Netflix produced by Shondaland, the same production company / producer Shonda Rhimes, who did things like Scandal and Grey's Anatomy. Yeah. I think those are the only two that I know of, but I'm sure she's
How to Get
so
Away with
prolific.
Murder.
Yes. So prolific. So the Bridgerton series is based on the book series of the same name by Julia Quinn, and it follows the 8 close-knit Bridgerton siblings who are named A through H as they navigate the highly competitive social season. Sarah, do you know all the Bridgerton siblings from A through H?
Yes, I think I do. G through G.
Through H. Sarah.
I thought Gregory was younger than Hyacinth, so I got confused. I was thinking about the alphabet. Okay, we got Anthony, not Anthony, which sometimes I get confused by.
I think it's technically Anthony, but then the British accent, they pronounce it Anthony.
Okay.
Whatever, it's fine.
Benedict, Colin, Daphne, who, where's she gone to?
Is she gone?
Eloise, Francesca, R.I.P. Well, not her, but Gregory, and then Hyacinth.
Correct. Very
Yay.
good. Okay, you're allowed to still be a guest host. So this 4th season is based on the Julia Quinn novel An Offer from a Gentleman, and focuses on the love story between Benedict Bridgerton, the second son, and Sophie Beck, who I think is Sophie Beckett in the book. So once again, this season was released in 2 parts, with the second half of the season coming out on February 26, 2026, this past Thursday. And we also have a lot of side stories brewing this season, like you alluded to, like Francesca and John, which I think is the most notable. I think that was definitely like the B storyline, with Benedict and Sophie being A storyline. So, Sarah, how did you feel about Sophie and Benedict's love story? Did you think it was a tale as old as time?
I don't know if tale as old as time, just because of the some of the modern takes, I think, that Shondaland really inserted into the story, primarily being that they chose to cast a Korean actress, so Yerin Ha as Sophie. And then the other part being just how they played out around everything with the mistress kind of terminology, which was really interesting. I didn't read the books, but I did read some explanations on how the season differed from the book on Reddit. So curious your more expertise view on that. But I thought it was really interesting how they positioned the asking of being a mistress, which was really the cliffhanger going from part 1 into part 2, and how they in some ways put it in its time and like contextualized the ask, but in some ways really didn't and really modernized it, which in some ways I appreciated, and in other ways I think made it a little bit less believable, if you will.
What are some ways where you thought they really modernized it and it made it unbelievable?
Yeah, so I thought some of the ways they modernized it were in a lot of the conversations I feel like Benedict was having with his friends, primarily the boxer whose name eludes me. I don't know if you know his name.
I don't know his name, but I know who you're talking about. Boxer guy. The lady in
Yes.
waiting. Oh, Mondrick.
Yes.
Because her name is Mrs. Bondrick. Okay,
Yeah,
yes.
Mr. Mondrich, Lord Mondrich, when he explained to Benedict why, like, a woman would never want to be asked to be a mistress, like, even if the settings require it, that, you know, being made to seem like you're secondary rather than someone's first choice is never a position a woman wants to be in. So I did think that explanation was helpful, and I think maybe not true of its time. And then I think in how it was not as believable was I was kind of like, girl, you got to be his mistress. Like,
oh my God, Sarah.
no, like back in the day,
Yeah.
in the day, the only option was to be mistress, you know?
Right. Yes.
And I think that's where sometimes with Bridgerton, it's interesting, right? Because they toe this line to what you said at the beginning of being like what did you say? Historical interpretation?
Alternative history.
Yeah, sorry. And the things they choose to really dial in on in the historical accuracy versus not can be just fun to watch as a viewer.
Yeah, I see what you mean. It's like obviously a big crux of this season was the fact that Sophie was of lower class than Benedict.
Yes.
And then because that was definitely a real structure that like this is how society would react to this, but then also saying like is there even an alternative path other than being a mistress, and like would Sophie really not want this? I see what you mean.
Yeah. But overall I really enjoyed it. What did you think?
I thought it was great. Honestly, when I read the books, this was the book that I was most bored by.
Oh,
because
interesting.
it was, for me, it was like, oh, okay, this is basically just Cinderella, right? And then I think the way that they treated it in the book was very much more about this like idea that Benedict is trying to find the lady in silver, and he's like really, really searching, but he's like kind of falling in love with Sophie, but also he's like really hyper focused on the lady in silver. And I'm like, oh, this dumb man, like put 2 and 2 together already, right? So I think by the book I was a little bit bored by that, but I think the show really dialed up this like other conflict, which is not really about who the lady in silver is, but more about how do we make this work if you are of nobility and I'm a maid, and we're trying to get over this class divide. So I really liked how the show focused more on that side versus like, who's the lady in silver? Like, we gotta find her, you know?
Yeah, which as a side note, when Benedict in the show was trying to find Lady in Silver and he's out here looking at all of these women, and I was like, Benedict, do you even remember what you were looking at with the Lady in Silver? As always, amazed by Shondaland's diversity in their cast, but Benedict, like, you know, remember you seem to remember aspects of this woman, you know?
Yeah, like how many Asian families are there in the Dawn? Come on.
Yes. And if you're like kind of confused by her race, let's say, then you can maybe hone in on the fact that she's a little bit paler, like lighter skin, you know?
Dark hair.
Dark hair. Yes. There's like some context clues, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. I think I saw some memes on Instagram or something that was like Benedict Bridgerton went to the same school of, oh my God, what is that Hilary Duff movie?
What dreams are made of?
No, there's like
That's the
some
song.
Hilary Duff movie where she's like working at the diner and then she like goes to a ball. It's basically
Cinderella story.
Cinderella story.
Yes.
Yeah, I should have guessed that. And it's some kind of Cinderella story. Anyway, yes, that one. It was like Benedict Bridgerton went to the same school of not being able to recognize women when they just put on this tiny little mask.
Yeah.
Some people just have face blindness. It's fine.
I did also see on Reddit that a big difference was the timing. So apparently in the books, in between when he first meets the Lady in Silver to then when I think Sophie comes to work at Bridgerton House, it's like a 2-year gap in between when
Right.
those happen. Versus in the book, it's only like 2 weeks.
Right.
So that was an interesting piece of the book that I was curious about because there wasn't as much like yearning, if you will, within the show. Like, yes, he's looking for her, but then he finds her pretty quickly. So it's interesting that like in the book, I feel like that maybe more demonstrated how serious or committal Benedict was. Because I did feel like a piece that was, this wasn't a big negative for me of the show, but it was like Benedict was kind of this whole new character in a way in this season than I feel like he had previously been portrayed. Whereas
Yeah.
I wonder if in the book that gave you a little bit more time to get acclimated to this like idea of Benedict being so committed to finding Sophie and like or finding the Lady in Silver and being ready to like marry Sophie.
Yeah, for sure. I think this is also kind of how the books are structured versus the show. So a lot of the books are structured like they go back in time and kind of like recap what was going on. So like if book 1 was takes place between like 1814 and 1816 or so, then book 2 will be like, oh, in 1814, while this was happening, this was also happening like over here. And then they go through that story focusing on like the, I guess, what was it? Anthony and Kate. And then in book 3, they're like, oh yeah, while this Anthony and Kate plotline was happening, like here's what was also happening in a side room. And then they like go through that story.
Okay,
so like
got
things are happening at the same time, but they like completely narrow down in the book like on that one story, and they kind of like make allusions to like what was happening on in like other kinds of stories, and then also bake in like what happened after that book ended. So for example, like even in this season they show like, oh, Anthony and Kate now have a daughter or a son or something. Oh, daughter, yes.
Oh,
They have a daughter, right?
I thought it was a son. Edmund?
Yes, you're right. They have a son. Okay. Yes, you're right. Actually, that's really critical that they have a son because Benedict feels like his role is like completely gone. Yes, they have a son. So it's like things that happen after their story. Where I think what the TV show does is they kind of consolidate the time a little bit more, or like they don't make you as aware of the time pass than like the books do.
It's funny, they almost should have some time cards.
Oh my God.
Heated Rivalry.
Honestly, I'm happy with no time cards.
Which I did want to say, back to your point around all of the side stories and tying back to Heated Rivalry, which I know I loved, is... So I think in some ways Heated Rivalry really spoiled me in some ways, because what I loved about Heated Rivalry was how dialed they were on just like one plot story, right? There was like that side episode that happened between Kip and Scott, but otherwise you're really focused on Jane and Ilya. Yeah. And something that I found a little annoying, to be honest, in watching Bridgerton was like all of the side stories that were going on, because there were multiple, right? And I get that part of they need to tee up for future plot lines, and then they also need to like call back to the last seasons. But I found it really confusing. Like Anthony, he came in hot for a minute with Edmund, but then he left and he wasn't there for the funeral, and they didn't even share a reason for why he wasn't there. I was like, what? Like, you keep alluding to him not being here, but why isn't he here? And then the other piece that I was really confused by was, where was Colin and Penelope's baby? They started the season with the baby, but then the baby completely dropped off. And I didn't watch last season, so I don't know if the baby was like more in last season. There was no callbacks to Daphne. Like, where's Daphne girl at? And
Yeah.
then Violet, I was like, I don't need to follow this side story.
Poor Violet.
I'm sorry. She ended the season just to, like, what was that? I was confused, you
I
know?
think Violet's confused too. I think that's the point.
I guess, but I'm like, let's focus on your children, Violet.
To be fair, I do think Violet is a great mom. Like the way that she shows up
Amazing.
for her children, just like,
Yes.
wow. It's like, so, even though she has freaking 8 children, which is crazy, like she still has one-on-ones with each of the children. And even in the books too, she has like a different relationship with each of her 8 children that is very unique to them, which I
Yeah.
really appreciate that she sees that and like calls it out and highlights it and is like, you're like this aspect of me, or like you're this aspect of your dad, or like you want to do things this way because that's what you like, that's what your personality is. And I like encourage that in you. I'm like, she is really seeing each of her children.
I completely agree. I think she's an amazing mom. I think we could have still gotten that without her whole side plot story. Sorry. And I was in part 1 with the Francesca. There was so much emphasis on Francesca and John and Michaela. I guess Michaela came in more in part 2. I was also like, let's skip past this. I understand they were teeing up for the second part of part 2, which I did not see coming. That was a total like left field. But yeah.
Yeah, I think I was more annoyed by those side stories with season 3 than season 4. So
Mm.
season 3 was Penelope and Colin, but I feel like there was so much going on. Like Francesca was having her love story as well, which kind of like she was stomped on intentionally, to be fair. Like it was not her story yet. It was Penelope and Colin's story. Um and like the way that they treated Lady Whistledown, like there was that story, and then I don't know, there was just too much going on that I felt like we couldn't really concentrate on like Penelope and Colin. It was more about Penelope and Lady Whistledown.
Yeah.
And then this season I really liked because I felt like it was very clear, like Sophie and Benedict is storyline A, Francesca, John, Michaela, storyline B, and then everything else is kind of scattered.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I think I personally would have loved just dial in on the Sophie Benedict, who their ship name is Benofi.
Oh, that's
Benofi.
cute.
I was like, Toffee. I wrote it down because I was like,
It's
how can I
not
pronounce?
Benny Beck.
No, Benofi. Benophie. So Benedict and Sophie. Benofi.
Benefy. Great. It's not Sophie Dick. Sorry.
Oh, I didn't even get that. I thought you were just separately saying. Got it. Benedict. Got it.
Okay, so I think there's like 2 major issues that I had. One was with Sophie and Benedict's love story, and then the other one was with the whole Lady Whistledown stuff. So let's talk about Sophie and Benedict first. If you were Sophie, you were a maid, you were working in the Bridgerton household, and Benedict comes up to you and is like, I love you. I'm going to do everything I can so that we can run away to the cottage together. And then you're like, great, love that. What are you going to tell your family? And he's like, I'll figure it out. How would you feel in that moment?
I think I'd be like, classic Benedict.
Never thinking anything through. Half-baked Benedict.
I think I feel like that was kind of the natural like positions that both of them took up. Like I think I would be unsurprised, maybe is the right way to put it, because I think there's like this tension between Benedict pushing for like this future for them and then Sophie kind of being like, wait, no, and like kind of being the more like realist person in that. in that dynamic, which makes sense because Benedict has like lived such a life of privilege and is able to kind of just make these decisions really with little to no consequences. So yeah, I think I would be unsurprised, probably also a little hurt because, Sophie was never asking for anything. And I think that was like what she kept saying, like, I didn't ask for these things. So yeah, I think that's how I'd react. What do you think?
That's what I was thinking too. I think if I were Sophie, I would be like, okay, yeah, figure that out. And while you're doing that, I'm gonna leave. Like
Yeah.
I'm going to America. Like I can't wait for you to figure this out. Like either figure it out now or figure it out yesterday. Like I'm gone.
Yes,
But
yes.
I don't think that was really her response. Like that her response in the moment was like, "Oh my god, he's going to figure it out." And then I think she changed her mind when she overheard that conversation between him and Anthony, I think, right? Where Anthony is like, even if you have kids, they're going to be illegitimate, like no matter what. So I don't know what your plan is. And then she was like, oh God, he's so right. All right, I'll leave.
Yeah, I think it was maybe kind of like a moment of weakness for Sophie because she had been so strong and so like against everything prior to that, like saying no to being his mistress and like really shutting down um kind of anything previously. But yeah, she's just a girl. She's just a girl who was in love with a hot man and she let him have a moment.
You're so right. Yeah, I forget these people are probably like 21, maybe younger.
But it was interesting because the way that storyline ended, I actually was like pretty confused by, to be honest. Like I thought where we were going was that in the will, her father actually legitimized her and that was kind of the big like reveal of how her father was actually going to take care of her. Um, so then in the end, when like they just lied and then the queen was laughing, I was like, oh, so now they're allowed to just be here. Like I thought that the end was always gonna be they're moving to our cottage, my cottage. So yeah, I thought that was just a little I was pretty confused by that actually. I had to Google that afterwards because I was like, what? Why is the queen laughing?
Well, she's laughing because like she knows like what's going on. Like she knows that that girl is a maid, but it's like up to her basically to believe the lie and therefore
Mm,
like make it okay for them to
mm.
be together or to be like, what the fuck? No, you're a maid. Like so that's why the queen was laughing because like she decided to be in on it and believe the lie and therefore legitimize it.
So Mrs. Mondrich, the lady in waiting, she had no idea that was gonna happen because
No,
she
she
was
did.
oh,
It
she
was
did.
all Lady Mondrich's plan. Yeah. So
Oh.
that's why so she goes up to her husband, Mr. Rodridge, and is like, "Hey, I am like taking this risk by helping this maid out and I either have to decide like if I'm going to help her out and like maybe the queen will love me for it or help her out and maybe the queen will hate me for it, but either way I'm helping her out." And then the boxer's like, "Atta girl, go get him." And then she's like, "Okay, great." And then it skips forward where she arrives at Bridgerton House, and all of this happens off screen, but it was like shown that she arrived at Bridgerton House and basically told them of the plan last night. The plan being, hey, bring everyone to the Queen's Ball tomorrow, and then B, we're gonna try this story with Sophie being a distant relative of Lord Penwood. And that's the story that we're gonna go with. And then C, threaten Araminta with all of this like legal stuff about the will because she was being like crazy about the will or something like that.
Okay. That yeah, I got that she was like planting all those seeds. I didn't realize that she was specifically gonna tee up the the lie part. I thought that the lie was like a last minute in the moment sort of situation.
No, no, no. I think it was
Okay.
planned. Yeah. So
Okay.
that's why when she and the queen actually go to the room where everyone's having the conversation,
Yeah.
and then Violet's like, she's a distant cousin. And then the queen's like, wait, I thought she was the maid, and then looks to Lady Mondrick, and Lady Mondrick is like, oh, I was mistaken. Like raises eyes.
Okay, that personally, yeah, that went a little bit over my head. So I was like, she's just laughing, and then I was like, this is the plan? Like, what? Why aren't they going to our cottage?
Well, to be fair, I think I don't know how it will happen in the show, but in the books they do go to my cottage. So like
even though the queen has like legitimized everything.
Yeah, because I think they still don't want people to like dig into
Yes, that's
who
what I was
Sophie is.
thinking. I was like, yeah.
Yeah, so that's why in the book, like I think they get married in private and then they go to my cottage in private. So it's basically like, oh, everyone has seen Sophie. They kind of assume that she's a lady, but also let's not put her front and center so that people can dig into her past. And they do end up moving to my cottage. So maybe we'll see that next season.
Okay. Our cottage.
Our cottage.
It's the year of going to the cottage.
Oh my God, I literally wrote that down. I was like, I'm coming to our cottage. Okay, anything else on Sophie and Benedict's story before we move on to other plot lines?
Oh, I did think like two things were interesting. Was one, like how he proposed.
Which one?
Well, how Benedict proposed to Sophie in the ball, and she was just kind of like, yeah. I was like, oh, we couldn't get anything a little bit more romantic, like bring her out to the terrace. I don't know. It was just such a like, yeah, I didn't love that.
In the middle of the dance floor?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. I wonder if they did that because they felt like they had to like legitimize show society that he was off the market.
Yeah, maybe.
But I agree. I mean, if you're gonna do that, then like people be asking questions, you know?
Okay, the second thing I was really intrigued by was the bathtub scene. So there was a couple of things about the bathtub scene. The first thing is, where did the bathtub appear from? Because in prior shots in the room, the bathtub was not there. The other piece was, how is this bathtub getting hot water? And then I watched an interview between Luke Thompson is his full name, Benedict's full name, and Yaren Ha, and they were being interviewed about the bathtub scene. And apparently the water was lukewarm because underneath the bathtub they had running basically like some sort of heater so that it would like heat the bathtub and then heat the water. And apparently the bathtub was much deeper than they expected. So they were using a lot of core strength to like hold themselves upright in the bathtub because if they let go, they would just start sliding in the bathtub.
Wow, that makes that scene even more impressive.
I know.
So my thought on the bathtub was, I don't know how they did it in the scene, but in the old-timey days, I feel like they literally just brought in a bathtub and then poured it in with like hot water and then took out the bathtub when it was time to not be in the bathtub.
Okay, got it. That makes sense. So they were historically accurate in the bathtub not being there before.
Yeah. What I did cringe at though is when they were splashing around in the bathtub, that water got outside of the tub and probably onto the carpet that was underneath. I was like,
keep it in the bathtub.
I know. It's like splooshy, splashy. Anyways, that was just like one part that made me cringe a little bit. I was like, the carpets. I'm sure it's fine. One more thing. Do you think that it was a coincidence that the uniform that Sophie was wearing kind of looked like a hanbok?
Interesting. I kind of had that thought too. But then I couldn't remember if that has been the uniform for the Bridgerton house previously.
Yeah, I didn't really recall that either, but I do remember thinking like, oh, I think this is generally the style. Like even in earlier seasons, like when they had dresses, it would like the waist line would kind of like stop at their bust and then it would like flow out over like bust down, which kind of seems similar to a hanbok style. But then I was like, oh, I don't know if they kind of modified that style to make it look a little bit more like a hanbok. Oh, Sarah, do you want to explain what a hanbok is?
Yes, a hanbok is a traditional style Korean dress that used to be worn.
Yeah. Oh,
um,
yappers. Sarah is Korean.
yes.
That's another Bridgerton expertise for this season.
And speaking of something that I loved about this season was like the small attention to detail around that. So Sophie in the show, her last name is Baek, Baek, and that's like a traditional Korean last name, even though the rest of her family are, I can't remember what their names are. Like her stepmother.
Oh,
What's
they were speaking Cantonese
Yeah.
at one point.
I
Yeah.
don't know if they had I know they were the Pembrokes, but I don't know if they had like a separate Asian last name. I'm not sure. I can't remember.
So her first name was Araminta,
Gun?
uh, maybe Araminta Bridgerton. I think she just went by Araminta Penwood because that's how, like, this was her second marriage, right? So she was, I don't know what her maiden name was, but her second marriage was to Araminta Gunn. Yes.
Okay.
Araminta Gunn, formerly Lee, is the stepmother of Sophie Bridgerton.
Mm, mm.
Yes. And in the book, she was Araminta Gunningworth, nay Chelsea, formerly Ryling. Yes. And in the book, it was Sophie Beckett. So they kind
Oh.
of made it Sophie Beck and made it like a Korean last name.
Yeah. So loved that small attention to detail.
Were there any other Korean influences that you saw?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
Were there others that you saw?
No, I think it was really just the hanbok thing.
Yes.
Which I
And then
was
the
like,
last
oh,
name. Yeah.
yeah, and the last name.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, because also they showed Kate wearing a sari
Yes.
in a different scene. So I was like, oh, are they putting more like ethnic influences in here?
As a side note, I will say I hated the little like hair thing that Sophie had to wear at the Bridgerton house, like the white thing that was in her hair.
The like clamshell looking thing.
Yes, I thought it looked so bad on her. Like when Hazel had it on, I thought it looked better. I don't know, just something about the positioning of it. I was like, can you pull it up or pull it down?
I thought it looked cute. Although I will say, every time she had it on, my eyes were just drawn to that thing. I was
It kind of
like,
looked like a pad on her head. I think that's why it like kind of freaked me out a little bit. But then when Hazel had it on, it looked like more it was less open, I think, on Hazel.
yeah, yeah, that's fair. I think I don't know what it was, but it felt smaller on Hazel than it
Yes.
did.
It was really
Yeah.
open
Yes. Yeah.
on
It
Sophie,
reminded
yeah.
me of like a little clam, like a cute little clam. uh yes. So loved Sophie and Benedict's story. I do think compared to the books, I think they did a much better job on the season, so I definitely liked that more. But this is like in direct contrast to Penelope and Colin's story, which I loved the book,
Mm,
but I really did not like the season,
mm.
unfortunately. One of my major gripes about Penelope and Colin's story is that it was such a huge plot point last season when Penelope and Colin were getting married, and then Colin was like, "You have to drop this Lady Whistledown thing. It's like not good. It's like not a good look." And then Penelope is like, "This is what I've worked so hard for. You can't expect me to just give it up." And now in season 4, she is
She gives
doing
it up.
exactly that. So like, what was the point, Penelope?
Yeah. And then obviously at the end we have another Lady Whistledown coming back.
Yes. Okay, so this is another thing that's different from the book is that in the books, Penelope is just Lady Whistledown throughout the entire series.
Oh.
And it is revealed that Penelope is Lady Whistledown, I think in like book 4 or something. But then she just continues to be Lady Whistledown just under Penelope Bridgerton instead. So there's no new Lady Whistledown. So this is new for the show.
So in the book, how does she navigate people knowing that it's her and kind of this power she wields?
It's not really as much of a thing in the later books. Like, once you know who it is, it's kind of just like, oh, now we just know that it's Penelope, and she's just reporting on the happenings of the time.
Yeah.
It's not really thought of as like a big deal than it is in the show. But
Yeah.
who do you think the new Lady Whistledown is?
Ooh. I think it has to be a Bridgerton. So either I don't think it's Francesca because she'd be grieving. I think Sophie and Kate be in new mother, new life. So I think either Eloise or Hyacinth. But I think Hyacinth's too young, so maybe Eloise.
I think I
What do you
never
think?
even thought about Hyacinth. I thought it was Eloise. I'm like, I
Oh.
feel like this is Eloise for sure. But then I don't know how to feel about this because it's also, if someone is using Lady Whistledown's name, are they not just capitalizing off of Penelope's hard work?
I agree. Why don't they start Lady Whistledown 2 or like something else? Even a Lady Whistledown 2 would be capitalizing off of her name. Like, let's do a new format, like a play version. They should podcast. They have in the olden days they used to have these yellers, I think they were called. So like when there was news to the town, one person would come to the town center, get the news, and like yell it out to the rest of the town. Like that's the new format Lady Whistledown should take on.
It should be Sir Yeller Up.
Yeah.
And they should simply announce it.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, wait. Speaking of announcing, I'm also confused because Penelope did one last issue of Lady Whistledown and distributed all of those brochures during Lady Cowbird, I forget what her name is, the new Lady Penwood's ball. But like everyone knew that it was her, so why didn't she just announce it? I'm confused.
Because she had to be dramatic. Yeah, it did make it seem like it almost wasn't her because she was kind of just like standing back, to your point, versus, I don't know, being like, hey, here's new Lady Whistledown.
Yeah, new issue just dropped. It's me. You all know it's me.
Yeah, I wonder how they're going to play out that plot line into next season. Okay, I do think it would be interesting though if the new Lady Whistledown was also Hazel or someone who worked who like wasn't of the noble class, and or Mrs. Mondrich could be really interesting. But I think Mrs. Mondrich has too much on her plate. I think she needs to just focus on the lady in waiting side.
These are good guesses. Another guess, which I acknowledge is a reach, Varley.
Who's Varley? Oh, Varley! Yeah! She does have a lot of good gossip.
She does have a lot of good gossip, which is one of the main reasons why Penelope's mom was like, we gotta get her back. She knows everything.
There was so much that happened in this season. The maid wars, the whole side quest about oh my god, what's her name? Agatha and Charlotte, and not letting Agatha go.
Yeah, I don't know. I wonder if this is a way for Penelope / the actress who plays Penelope to
step away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very similar. I think what you had said earlier in this episode was like, oh, there's a lot of characters who we've seen kind of like pull back a lot. Like we don't see Daphne anymore. But I think that's because the actor who plays the Duke of Hastings just doesn't want to do Bridgerton.
Yeah. It was funny though how like they don't even mention her anymore.
Yeah, even when they like barge into the courtroom to rescue Sophie,
yeah,
Benedict is like, that's Sophie, like, and I'm Benedict Bridgerton, like, son of blah 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 Bridgerton, brother-in-law to the Count of whatever, and then Violet is also like, oh, and also a brother-in-law to the Duke of Hastings. It's like, even the way they talk about it is an afterthought.
Such an afterthought, yeah. In some ways, I almost felt like it was not additive to have even like Anthony and Kate in this season for like the confusion around him not even being able to come to the funeral.
Yeah, even when Anthony was there, I was like, that's Fiyero.
It's crazy that for a time before he was Fiero, he was Anthony Bridgerton, but now to your point, he simply is Fiero. So I
Yeah.
was like, he needs to go back to Oz.
Yeah, I was like, what's Fiero doing here? That's why he can't make it to the funeral. He's busy saving Oz.
Yes, if they just said that, then it would have been like everyone would have acknowledged it. He just needed to admit it.
That would be quite the sentence if they said that. I would be like, this is the same universe.
It's all connected.
It's all connected. Okay. So now let's talk about the other big story, which was John and Francesca and Michaela.
Yes.
So what did you think about their story? Were you surprised that John died?
Yes, I was very surprised. I had seen some stuff online, tell me if this is correct or not, that Francesca and Michaela have an affair. And that's part of the reason as to why Francesca cannot reach her pinnacle with John. And so that's where I thought we were going towards. And when I didn't again watch last season, but when she talked about how she and Michaela didn't really interact when they were in Scotland, I thought that was because there was this kind of tension between the two of them brewing. So when he died, I was like, this is not where I thought we were going. And I thought we were going to get more points between Francesca and Michaela's like physical relationship brewing in this season, but it seems like that's all being set up for next season. So I am curious how that compares to the books and if what I just shared was even accurate.
Yeah, let me tell you. Okay, so in the books, Francesca's story is kind of similar to what we've seen so far. She falls in love with John Sterling, and John in Francesca's like
Side
book.
note, why is his name John Sterling, but then he's like Lord Kilmartin?
That is a great question.
Because at one point she was like Lord Kilmartin, and I was like, the fuck? And then they were like John Sterling, and I was like, wait, so he was a Kilmartin, I thought.
So, okay, so John Sterling is the ninth Earl of Kilmartin. So he is
Okay.
the son of the Earl of Kilmartin, but he is maybe an heir to the title, but maybe is not the Earl yet because his father is still alive, I assume, and that's why he's not the Earl of Kilmartin.
Okay, got it. I think I was getting confused between last names and earldoms, so
Yeah. So I think one is like the place versus
yeah,
the name.
got it. Okay. Anyway,
Yeah.
please continue.
Okay, so in Francesca's like book, John dies because he, very similar to the show, he has a headache and he just goes to lie down and then just dies. And okay, also did some research on that. So John Sterling most likely dies from a ruptured cerebral aneurysm.
Oh my God, what does that mean?
I think it just means a brain hemorrhage. It's like a sudden brain hemorrhage.
Oh my
Um,
God.
yeah, and you can't really predict when it will happen, which makes sense because he was just like, oh, I just have so many headaches, and then you just like feel headaches, and then it just happens. Yeah,
Damn.
I know. Rip. Anyway, apparently this was a common, mysterious, fatal event in the 19th century.
Okay.
So that's how he died. So that's how Francesca's book starts. However, after John dies, his cousin Michael comes because
Oh,
now Michael is the heir to the Kilmartin earldom
okay.
and allows Francesca to stay in the Kilmartin house because he actually has always been in love with Francesca even before
Oh.
she married John.
Damn, do I need to read the books?
Hell yeah, you do.
Are they good?
I think they're good. I mean, for what it's worth, like I said, I feel like the Benedict Sophie book was like meh, but
Okay.
I like the other ones.
Dang.
Yeah, so this is what I'm confused about.
Yeah.
As soon as I put that together, I was like, holy shit, Michaela is Michael. So how is this gonna work? Because while there is affordances for all types of races, I don't know how an LGBTQ story is going to work.
And my sense is I don't think it will, right? Because Benedict at one point shares with Sophie that he's been with men before, but it's all in the language he uses is, or maybe that she uses to respond to that is like, all love is beautiful. But I think
Yeah.
he was like nervous, I think, with sharing that. And it seems like his relationships with men were like in that saloon or like separate parties that he would go to. So like people knew about it, but I don't think it was like out in the open.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I also was like, are they gonna bring in like another cousin? What's the point here? But I'm pretty sure Michaela is gay because John had such an uproar about Francesca introducing Michaela to suitors.
Yes.
So it seems like John definitely knows that Michaela is gay. Michaela most likely has feelings for Francesca already because when they held hands, Michaela's like, "Oh my God, don't hold my hand," and then like packs up and leaves the next day, which
She
also
also
did happen in the book.
she also responds when I think Francesca was telling Michaela about her family. Michaela was really surprised. She's like, "Wow, your family's like so open and loving." So there's a sense I think that maybe Michaela is not open about her sexuality with like her whole family, and maybe John was like one of the few people she could be honest with.
Right.
I'm also I don't know to what extent like Scotland culture versus like British culture does or does not play into that too. So yeah.
Yeah. And like I said, I think the biggest part of the book is that Michael becomes the Earl of Kilmartin. And
Which I don't
then
know if Michaela can.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So it's kind of weird how that will happen. Yeah, so we'll see what happens in
We'll
the next
see in
couple of
2
seasons.
years.
Yeah, unfortunately. Yeah, so actually the next couple of seasons, seasons 5 and season 6 are confirmed that they will focus on Eloise and Francesca, but they haven't told us the order. Most likely, I think next season will be Eloise. And then season 6 will be Francesca, just because Francesca has to go through this one season mourning period.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, I think that we'll see more in season 6, which like you said, will be in like 2 to 4 years.
Or in season 5, we could do a little Eloise Francesca situation, and then season 6 can be more like Gregory Hyacinth situation.
Oh, no, no, they said that season 5 and
Oh.
6 are going to be Eloise and Francesca.
Oh,
Like
respectively.
one season
Oh.
per sibling. Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Anyway, that's what happens in the books, and we'll see what happens in the show. Oh yeah, so speaking about the different books,
Mm.
have you noticed that there are different themes per book?
No, I have not noticed that, but please tell me more.
Or not per book, but I guess like per story. So
Tell
like
me more.
so each of the different siblings have a different romance trope associated with them. So season 1, which was Daphne and the Duke of Hastings, that was the fake dating trope. And then
Wait,
see
what?
they
Oh,
were
because
like
they initially weren't in love, but they got married, or they were like courting, and then they fell in love.
let's just fake court so that no
Oh,
one bothers us. So
got
then
it.
they fake court and then they actually fall in love.
I clearly forgot about season 1, also because we haven't heard from
We
them in
haven't
a long
seen
time.
them or heard from them. Yeah.
Okay.
And then season 2 was Anthony and Kate's story, which was enemies to lovers /
Oh.
taming of the shrew, a little bit.
Mm.
And then season 3 was friends to lovers. And then season 4 is Cinderella. I don't, that's not really a trope. It's just the story.
Yeah.
And a little spoiler alert into Eloise's season, I think will be more about people have said that it's kind of similar to Beauty and the Beast, which I can
Oh.
kind of see that.
Oh.
But
Who's the
also,
beast?
should I tell you?
Yeah.
Okay, it's Sir Philip. So the book name is titled To Sir Philip with Love. And
Who's Sir Philip?
so basically what happens is we actually did get a brief look into this. So the Bridgertons have a cousin named Marina. Marina is married to this guy, Philip, and they have a loveless marriage, Philip Crane. Marina, I think, suddenly dies.
Oh,
And Eloise
was
is
it from
like,
a cerebral aneurysm?
I hope not. But Eloise is like, oh no, I have to send out condolences. So she crafts a letter to Sir Philip and is like, hey, Philip, so sorry for your loss.
Hey.
Hey, hey, Sir Philip, so sorry for your loss. Like, many condolences, blah, blah, blah. Like, sends it to him. And then Sir Philip replies. And then they started this like pen pal kind of relationship. And
Mm.
then Sir Philip messages her and is like,
Messages her.
slides into her DMs and is like, hey, since you're a spinster at the age of 28, do you want to like get married? And then Eloise is so enraged by this message that she goes to Sir Philip, who lives in the countryside, by herself without a chaperone.
Uh-huh. So enraged. Mm.
So enraged.
I
And then, yeah.
Part of me is a little like I want Eloise to be happy, so whatever form happiness suits her in. But I kind of thought like if she doesn't like I did think it was interesting that there was this one storyline we had going of someone who didn't want to participate in the marriage mart and was kind of being able to avoid that. So I don't know. I think I have mixed feelings on this. I'll be curious to see how I feel when I watch it.
I will say, I really did enjoy
Mm.
reading Eloise's book. Um, I think probably because I identify with her. Out of all the Bridgertons, I most identify with Eloise.
Ooh,
Yeah.
why? That's a good question.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you this question too, actually. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like she's very sardonic, like deals with things with humor a lot of the
Mm.
times. Kind of just wants to focus on herself, doesn't really want the attention of other guys. Um, or like kind of thinks of it all as like more bothersome, but is more about
Mm.
like wanting to like increase her own knowledge and like learn about the world that way. Like that's what
Yeah.
she wants to do.
Yeah.
So I kind of identify with that. Not that I'm a spinster at age 28, but I like this idea about her just wanting to explore the world without being beholden to society's norms and pressures.
Yeah, I do too. I think that's I guess my point is that like I didn't know that I could have guessed, but I didn't know that Eloise definitely was going to end up marrying someone, and I guess we'll have to like see what that looks like. But I did like that they were giving her that space at least to have that exploration without like her being forced to marry someone, because I think a different family would have done that.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
Yeah.
we'll
She's
see.
not entering any loveless marriages.
Yes, yes.
Yes. So I'm excited for her season. I really hope it's next season.
Yeah.
Yeah. So who do you identify with most? Doesn't have to be Bridgerton.
Obviously, Sophie. Just kidding. No, I'll do Bridgerton. I'm like, what was Daphne like? I don't even remember that girl.
It's safe to say you probably don't identify with Daphne.
I think probably Anthony. So I'm the
Yeah.
oldest. So I think I identify with the way that Anthony feels a lot of responsibility, kind of like takes things on, really like leads the charge, if you will. Sometimes I think gets involved a little bit too much in like his younger siblings' behavior. Like when he was talking with Benedict, he meant well, but like at the wedding, he was like, never listen to me again. So I definitely identify with that.
Do you feel the pressures of, I don't know, upholding your family name on your shoulders?
No, I don't necessarily, but it is interesting because as a woman, I've thought a lot about like my last name and how like my family, there are like my family name within my like nuclear family. It's like me and my sister. So like what will happen to that family name has been something I've thought about. And it is interesting how like we do live in a patriarchal society, and so like the traditional norms are that your children at least would likely take up uh your husband's last name in a heterosexual relationship. So yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. I've thought about this too because I also am in a family where my nuclear family is me and my sister.
Hmm.
And while I think it's more the norm that women don't change their last names when they get
Yes.
married, it is still kind of the norm that your children take on the husband's last name. So I definitely see that too, which
Yeah.
sucks because I really like my last name. I did not feel that way when I was younger, but I
Yeah.
definitely feel that way now.
It's also interesting because particularly your last name can be indicative also of your ethnicity. And so it would be interesting to not necessarily like have that, or to have that be like something different depending on like who you end up with. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, both my first name and last name indicate what race I am.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
there's no escaping that even if I change my last name. But I'm not gonna change my last name, so yeah. Yeah, that's an interesting point. I actually did not expect you to say Anthony. I thought you would also say Eloise, to be honest.
Oh, I think I don't identify with, and I do not think that you are this way, to be clear. But I think in this season, there were elements of how Eloise was going about her her stances that I think were really selfish, to be honest, and really like hurtful towards Hyacinth. And so like with that last season in mind, I feel like that's not like a quality that like I personally take on. So I think that really turned me away from identifying more with Eloise. I did think she came around in like the latter half of the season, but then I'm like, what about? I feel like I don't know Gregory and Hyacinth that much, so maybe them.
They're still youngins.
I know, babies.
Yeah. I think to be honest, like going back to your point about like being selfish, I think that when I was younger, like in high school,
Mm,
even in college, I think I definitely felt
mm,
like looking back on it now, I think I was pretty selfish.
mm.
So while I don't feel like I'm selfish now, I think definitely when I was younger, I'm like, oh yeah, that was some real little sister behavior.
I've only met you in your post that era, so I wouldn't
And thank
know.
God. And thank God. Yes, I grew up a lot. So that's also why I think I feel that way
Mm,
towards Eloise is like,
mm.
yes, she has her selfish moments, but she can also reflect on them and grow from them, which I
Yeah.
think by the end of the season she did, right? Like she really wanted Hyacinth to have her time to shine, and she like snuck her in, right? When she was like dressed her up as a maid and stuck her into the ball so that she could be a part of it too.
Yeah, yeah. That was great older sibling behavior. I was like, this is what
Yeah.
your older siblings are supposed to do, you know?
Sneaky into places.
Yeah.
Yappers, let us know in the comments which Bridgerton character you identify with. I'm curious to see the spread.
Okay, which non-Bridgerton character do you identify with?
Kate's younger sister.
Oh my God, forgot about her.
I
That
know, right?
cutie, that little cutie pie.
So cute. Yeah. What about you, Sophie?
Um, okay, yes, and or Alfie. Love Alfie. Justice for Alfie. He was just trying to get Sophie that message, trying to be a good friend, and then he walked her down the aisle, which was so sweet. And I feel like
Oh.
he was definition great friend.
When you first said Alfie, I thought you were talking about Emily in Paris Alfie, and I was like, huh?
When Alfie was walking Sophie down the aisle, I teared up a little bit. I was like,
Oh. What a great friend, truly. So many
yeah.
people who care about you, Sophie. You should not throw all that
Yes.
away.
Yeah. I can't go to the Americas.
Yeah.
Also,
Rip.
Benedict's privilege really showed through when he was like, "How much would it be to charter a boat to go after this boat to the
Oh my God,
Americas?" I was
seriously.
like, "Oh, that was an option."
How much money to buy America?
Well, I was just imagining like a Titanic level boat, right? So if a Titanic level boat is like speeding ahead, can a small little like rower boat catch up?
Maybe that's like a little bit of his life and experience. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, let's talk a little bit about the different outfits and
Ooh.
hair that
Yes.
we saw. What were the outfits that stood out to you the most? Hair included. Why not? That's an outfit.
I mean, simply everything that the queen was wearing was like, and I don't know why, because this is now the fourth season, third-ish for me since I did DNF the last one, but every time I was shocked. And I know it's a wig, but it's still like even that sitting on someone's head, incredible. And someone still had to like craft the wig, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, like what?
Yeah. I read somewhere that Queen Charlotte has to, or the actress has to like drive separately. Like she needs an entire like bus for her and her hair because they don't fit. Generally because the wig is so tall that they need to be shipped separately.
There was one, I can't, it was towards the end of part 2. I can't remember which episode it was, where it was like a heart, but then there was like birds in it.
Yes, that's exactly the one that I was going to talk about. I was like, out of all the crazy wigs, which were each individually crazy, the one that stands out to me the most is the stupid bird one.
That was crazy.
Wild. And then the other thing that stood out to me was when we saw Cressida Cowper for
Oh,
the first time this season, and she was wearing a dress that was like a bow here, bow, 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 bow up her left shoulder, and bow, 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 bow up her right shoulder in like increasing degrees of largeness.
Cressida Cowper, go off, queen. She be happy now.
Yeah, I was like, this is wild. Like, even the person who thought of this dress is like wild. What a vision. What a vision. So also another question. Do you know what shoe clips are?
So that's a great question. I thought they were just her shoes.
I was like, they're
Oh,
either clips that like pinch them together, maybe, but then why are there
no.
two of them?
Shoe clips are versatile, detachable accessories such as bows, rhinestones, pearls, or pom-poms, used to instantly customize and elevate the look of heels, flats, and sandals without damaging them. Today, they typically cost between $5 to $15 for pairs and are available on platforms like Amazon or Target and can be handmade using clips, glues, and decorative items.
Okay, so these diamond shoe clips are basically little like diamonds that go on top of like the toe of the shoe. Is that right?
Yes, and they were apparently worthless, so they weren't even diamonds.
Got it. Yeah. So she just got them off Temu or something and then put them on her shoes and was like, they're diamonds.
She actually got them off Temu with this popcorn bowl and said, "I'm gonna ship one to Sarah and one to the Araminta gun household."
Truly visionary. Amazing. Okay, glad we cleared that up. And then, oh yeah, then I have another second historical question, which is, how do ladies in waiting actually get chosen?
Okay, so my theory, and Yappers, feel free to correct me, is I believe it was all kind of like political power. So, uh, if you are the royal family, you would want to choose ladies in waitings of houses that are powerful to you as like a favor to those houses. So, for example, if you had a house that had a lot of wheat and you wanted to make sure you got wheat at a discount, you would want to employ the daughter of the house of the lord who owns the wheat family, and that's how you would create those positions. And oftentimes these women were like well educated, had a lot of talents and skills because part of their job, like Mrs. Bondrich is doing for the queen, was to entertain the queen and kind of to help shape the culture of the royal court overall.
I see. Okay, so the Earl of Catan, who has sheep and brick and
Yes.
wheat and rice or whatever. Okay.
Yes, exactly. And
They
I
get
think it
to be
was
ladies in
also
waiting.
beneficial because then you're giving favor, if you will, to that earl, which then hopefully also allows the earl to be on your side too, if anything comes up with regards to making decisions or like succession rights, etc.
Got it. So it's not who has the most gossip.
I don't think so. I feel like that's the role maybe the jester would play more so in the court.
The jester is Gossip Girl?
Well, I feel like the jester is like making fun of things and like it like doing gestures, but also like songs, like making fun of people. And I feel like that is often gossip based.
I see. Oh, okay. I didn't know that. I
Yeah.
had it in my head that the jester was just there like juggling balls the entire time. Like that's all that the jester did.
I think the jester did that, but was also like comedy and wit and would do physical entertainment, but also like speaking entertainment.
I see. Okay, so juggling balls, gossiping, cracking whips, doing flips.
Damn, you got what is
Got
it called?
bars.
Word. Yes.
I could be a jester. Just kidding. I don't know how to flip.
You are a jester. You're the jester of BYR.
Oh, thank you. Are we all jesters in some way or another? Oh, actually, wait, sorry. I did have another historical question. So one song that I actually really love the classical version of. So now all these like Bridgerton seasons, they always do classical versions of pop songs. They did a classical version of 360 by Charlie XCX, and I actually loved it more than than like the original 360 Charlie
That was a
song.
great one. I did
so
think
good.
there were a few songs, I can't remember them right now, but there were a few songs when I started hearing them, I was like, this did not need to be classical versionized.
Yeah. Lose Control was
Oh.
there.
Oh yeah. When
And
they're in the
then
bathtub. Oh no, that was the
I,
prior bedroom scene, maybe?
yes, prior
Yeah.
bedroom scene. Yeah. And I think Birds of a Feather too. That was the
Oh
classical
yeah.
version. And then some other song that I actually didn't even hear the original version of, but I think it's like Just When It Happens. Oh my God. By the Cars.
I don't know the chorus.
Just When I Needed You. Oh, man. Just what I needed. Oh my God. That took me forever to get there. Jesus. Okay, yeah. So it was like Just What I Needed by the Cars, which I hadn't even heard the original version of. So, and then Andrew started singing along to it, and I was like, how do you know this? It's an old ass song, that's why. Anyways, what was I saying? Oh yeah, okay. So the point that I was trying to make was when they were dancing to 360 by Charlie XCX, the classical version, they were doing like these like little hops and
Yes.
stuff. And I was like, is this historically accurate? Is this how they danced in the olden times? I don't know if you know.
I don't know. I could see it going either way, unhelpfully.
Great.
It was like a box step, but then they also did like, yeah, the little. I was like,
yeah, there's a lot of like hopping dance Bridgerton. Let me see. How accurate are the dances in Bridgerton? The dances on the show are largely accurate, though she doesn't watch any period piece with the strict lens as an interpretation of a historical moment to serve a story. Okay, so it seems like they hopped. They do be hopping.
who knows? Maybe they were hopping to a classical version of 360 with just slightly. It was like the back in the day version of 360.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe this came first, and then Charlie was like, you know what this classical song needs? Some synth. Some bass. Okay. I think that's all that I had to chat about. Is there anything that you wanted to add? You wanted to talk about?
I guess two things was one, I was pissed with Netflix about the way they dropped this whole season. I understand that they need to split it for the views, for the to build the hype. But the whole point of Netflix is that we're able to binge these episodes. And it was only 8 total. I think that's what got me. Like, if it was a longer season, then I can understand more the split. But it just felt so. Yeah, that really pissed me off. And then I was peeved because I missed the wedding scene at the end. So at the end of the last episode, when it wraps up, then it cuts to the credits. I just stopped watching because I don't watch all the credits. And then I was looking online and someone was like, "Oh, you have to watch the after credits scene."
Oh, I did not watch the after credits scene. Okay, that makes more sense because when you were talking about Alfie walking Sophie down the aisle, I was like, is that something I missed? Like, when did that
Yes.
happen?
They got
So that's the after
married.
credits scene.
Yes, and it's very, very sweet because Anthony is like Benedict's best man, and he says, "Benedict,
You mean
never
Fiero?
listen to me again."
Sorry.
Yes, sorry, Fiero.
Sorry.
Fiero misses the funeral but comes back for the wedding.
Okay, great.
Yeah. And I thought
Oh, okay.
that was what I was saying about the like acknowledgement of how he was wrong and why I kind of identified with Anthony in that way, and it was really sweet. And Hazel was at the ceremony, and Hazel and John have a little eye moment with each other. Yeah. And this is what I mean. It's like Netflix, if you're gonna split this, I get that. But then like give the viewers everything. Like, why did you have to split that after credit scene? Make it more obvious, you know?
Why? Yeah, what? This is not a Marvel movie. Why is there an after credits scene?
Yes, literally. And it's like
Wow.
the credits are really long. So it's not like you start and then it immediately will cut. Like I had to scroll a lot of the way because I saw it online. And when I was looking at it, I was like, maybe the internet's like pranking me. And then I
Yeah.
found it.
Why did they do it that way?
I don't know, but I'm glad we talked about it. So now you can go and watch it.
I
And
will
other
go and
yappers
watch.
can too.
Yappers, get that after credits scene. Thank you, Sarah, for pointing that out.
One more thing that I don't think we talked about was Sophie girl, you so smart. Why did you not read the will?
Oh my God, yeah. The only thing I can imagine is she was so caught up in this, the emotional throes about her father suddenly dying. And she was probably hurt because her father never really clarified that she was his son or that she was his daughter to Araminta, right?
Yeah.
Like, she was never really treated as one of theirs. Like, she even was introduced to Araminta as his ward.
Yeah.
So, and on top of that, she a baby. She's like, what, in middle school when he dies or something like that? Like, of that age. So, with all those put together, it's conceivable that she would just like not
Well, I
not
felt
want to
like
read it.
a better like reason would have been, oh, Araminta locked up the will and like wouldn't let me see it.
Mm,
Like I was like, why did we have to go with she just chose to never read it?
mm. I mean, it could be even more hurtful, right? Like, if you were brought up with this mentality of like, oh, maybe your dad never loved you, and then Araminta's like, oh, he left you nothing in the will, by the way. It would be hurtful to like read that.
No, I don't disagree with you, but it was just interesting that it was like Benedict who pointed that out to
That's true.
Sophie.
Like, so many years later.
Yes, I think that
Yeah.
was just the part where I was like, oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, it would have taken me one bad day to be like, let me read that MF will right now.
Yes, like before I'm leaving getting kicked out of this house, let me go up and just read the will like one more time,
Yeah.
or just let me check in. So
Let me check it. Hey, Araminta, I think you're on mute. Can you share your screen when you read the will to us? Thank you. Yeah, that's fair. Okay, great. Anything else before we do ratings?
I don't think so. Anything else from your end that we didn't talk about?
I think I'm good. I'm feeling talked out.
Yeah, we yapped, girl. This
yapped.
flew by. I looked and it's been an hour 20 minutes.
Yes. This is what happens when you BYR.
Yeah. But yeah. Okay. All right. Let's go.
Okay, so ratings, as a reminder, we're gonna do quality and enjoyment ratings, both out of 5. So go for it as the guest.
I will say I think I'm more of a soft rater. I think I fall in like most things are 5, 4 to 5. I'm a high rater, sorry, not a soft rater, a high rater. I would say quality was probably at a 4. I mean, the set is amazing, like the attention to detail is unbelievable. I think there were some plot holes that we talked about and things that I was a little bit confused by, but overall I think 4. Obviously it's not, like a Emmy winning show in my book, but a high 4.
Wow, so rude.
And then enjoyment, I would say was a 5. I ate this show up. I think the combination of Yaren Ha being so beautiful. She's a Korean Australian actress. And she's just so hot, so beautiful. And I think the Cinderella trope was so like there's something about the Cinderella story that just gets me like kicking my feet a little bit.
Aw.
So yeah, that was mine. How about yours?
I think so. I don't consider myself a soft grader, but I would do the same actually. I would do 4 out of 5 for quality, 5 out of 5 for enjoyment. I definitely loved this season.
Mm-hmm.
This might be the best season so far of Bridgerton that I've
Okay.
enjoyed.
That actually, I would love to bring up a point, if okay with you, is I did see a lot of critique online where I think the internet was a little divided on it being like the best season because some people thought that the Benefi chemistry wasn't really there versus
I
people
disagree.
were like, oh, the Kate Anthony one, the chemistry was like unmatched. My personal take was because I think those 2 seasons are probably like tied for me. I think I loved in this season that it felt like there was way more plot that also like built upon their attraction and the Cinderella story and their chemistry, which I really loved. And I feel like Benedict, he did such a good he's such a like facial actor. Like there were some of the facial expressions he would make that I was like, oh, you down bad for this girl.
Aw. Yeah, I think what attributes to my high enjoyment rating is honestly really low expectations. So like I said, no, hear me out. So like I said, when I read the book, I was like, this book fucking sucks. Like, this is the worst book ever. So my expectations for this show was also very low. And I felt like this was way better than my expectations by a long shot, and it was better than the previous season by a long shot. So I think like those two expectations coupled together made my expectations for this season to be really low, but it definitely surpassed that. So that's why my enjoyment is a 5 out of 5.
Love that. I love that we're aligned. I kind of thought I didn't know if we were going to be, but
Really?
I love that.
Yeah. I was thinking about it. Anyway, yeah, so highly recommend Yappers to watch the season. I would say, like, how would you contextualize this to a yapper who may or may not have watched this season or any of the series?
Yeah, I kind of feel like I don't know if you agree with this, but I kind of feel like you don't need to have watched the other seasons to watch this season. Like, I feel like you could drop in. There would be like things that would get spoiled for you from other seasons, but if you're okay with that, I think you could jump in. I would say it's a Cinderella story interpretation in what was the words you historical interpretation?
Alternative history.
In alternative history. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. I do feel like I think if I were to contextualize my recommendation, it would be to watch everything.
Oh, wait, sorry. I must have misunderstood the question.
No. I think you got it. It was like if you wanted to watch this series, you could. Like this season, you could without watching any of the previous seasons.
Okay.
But I think my recommendation is I think if you really want to know what's going on and really enjoy everything, then watch the entire series and you don't have to read the books.
Yes.
I say that because I was watching with like Andrew popping in and out, and then
Oh.
he kept asking me questions, and I was like,
You can't ask questions if you're not locked in.
I know, I was like, pause. Okay, so here's what's going on, and this is why I was so shocked about this. Yeah, and then I also had to explain like the whole Michael Michaela thing too, and he was like, "Oh, that's interesting." I was like, "I know, isn't it?" Okay, whoops, I just dropped my mouse. Anyway, so our last segment of the episode, as you know, is Binge in Progress, where we talk about what we've been binging outside of the show. And this can be any form of media, like book, TV, new app that you downloaded on your phone, anything.
Girl, so much. I feel like we are in a television overload right now. I've been watching Industry. Season finale is tonight as of when we're recording this, so on Sunday. The Pit.
What's Industry?
Industry is a show on HBO Max. It's like basically a show about it's a show about many things. It's a show about people working in finance and kind of like high stakes finance. It's Succession-y vibes, but within like more of a finance setting, and it evolves a lot over the 4 seasons. Watching Paradise just came back on Hulu. Unbelievable. So season 2, the first pilot episode is, I would say, as compelling as the season 1 first pilot episode. Hijack on Apple TV. Not great, but Idris Elba carries the show. Drops of God, also kind of a rogue show. Traitors, I didn't watch the finale yet. So there's just so much TV going on. I love to be in these TV overloads, but it's also kind of overwhelming.
I see what you mean. So not Love is Blind?
No, that one did not make the cut. I had to cut something, and I cut out Love is Blind.
Rip.
How about you? What are you binging?
So I have been watching Love is Blind. Oh yeah, quick Love is Blind update. So for those of you who are watching and maybe just relying on Binge in Progress to stay updated with Love is Blind, here's what happened in the episodes that just dropped. Bree and Connor are on the outs. They are not going to go to the altar. We'll probably hear more about the reunion. The episodes ended with Emma and Mike, with Emma saying yes to Mike, but we have yet to hear Mike's response. And the rest of the weddings are going to come out this Wednesday, March 4th.
A classic Netflix cutting episode.
Classic. And the reunion will follow March 11th, so a week later. Okay. So that's my Love is Blind update. But my Binge in Progress update, I'm so excited to tell you about this. I downloaded this game. It's called Sky Cards, and it's the best game ever. It's like Pokemon meets airplanes. You basically catch airplanes.
Live airplanes?
Yeah, like airplanes that are like flying ahead. Like right now, you can catch them in your location. And if you catch like certain airplanes, like some of them are common, some of them are like ultra rare. And you
Wait,
can...
what's it called?
Sky Cards.
Oh, I looked up Sky Plane. Okay.
Yeah, Sky Cards. And you can also unlock airports by catching airplanes that are going to those airports. And then you can travel to those airports and catch airplanes that are in those airports.
How did you hear about this game?
I think Andrew had downloaded it because I think it went viral like a year or 2 ago, and I remember seeing a reel about it and being like, I can't download this game. I'm gonna get so sucked in. Like, I just know. Isn't it amazing? It uses flight radar data and everything.
Cool.
Yes.
Wow, there's so many flights in progress. Okay.
I know,
I'll check this
and you're in
out.
New York, which is like the best place to catch all these airplanes.
Gotta catch them all.
Exactly. So that's my Binge in Progress because I've been just like playing Sky Cards this whole time. It's so fun.
I love that so much.
Yeah. All right, well, that's the end of our episode. Dearest gentle listeners, thank you for listening. And thank you so much, Sarah, for joining us while Shalini is enjoying her ski trip.
Yay! Thanks for having me on, and excited to hear what characters you identify with most.
Ooh.
And like, and subscribe
There you
on
go.
Spotify, Apple, on any platform that you listen to your podcast on. And you can also find them on Instagram at Binge Yap Repeat, right?
Yes,
Underscore?
correct.
Or just Binge Yap Repeat? Okay.
We paid her to say that, by the way, so I'll be requesting a refund.
They paid me with this popcorn stand.
Thanks for yapping with us. If you loved this episode, have some hot takes we missed, or if you've got a show you're dying for us to binge next, follow us on socials. We're at Binge Yap Repeat.
Until next time, happy binging!